it is. $10,000 is like that psychological barrier. It's also this extremely nostalgic number from 2017. Want to talk about that too in this video. Let's just jump into the charts. Let's talk about these things. So I want to actually start on this chart over here. So I'm going to answer your question about the title of this video, 11K, is it more important? I'm going to explain to you why I think it is. Yesterday I did a video discussing the similarities of the last cycle. You see the similarities illustrated on the screen. There's no question. We discussed so many different things. We discussed a possible breakout, right at the 76% to the apex of the triangle, similar to what happened in that last cycle. And we discussed other things. I'm not going to get into it. Check out the video. I think it was really good data. But what I want to talk about is the $11,000 area. Bitcoin might not stay above 10,000 in the short term. I just want to throw that out there. But why is 11,000 important? Let's look at this. And this kind of ties into yesterday's video and the significance and similarities of this cycle to last cycle. This is the last cycle. This is Bitcoin coming out of the bear market, and this is Bitcoin breaking through some heavy resistance. Now, if you see this swing high to the top of this trend line, right around Bitcoin halving, that is what this white line is, by the way. That's the Bitcoin halving in 2016. That swing high to that swing low, right? That's kind of where we are right now today. And for Bitcoin, back then, that resistance, right, confluent with that upper trend line, that yellow line you see running down the screen, this Fibonacci resistance area, the 786 to 618. That's around $700 down to like $600, this whole resistance area. We are at such a similar area right now. The upper trend line resistance that we got, right? And let's take well, actually, we already have the Fibonacci placed. So we have our swing high resistance, upper trend line to swing low. And now we're looking at this same exact Fibonacci retracement, the 786 to the 618 resistance, again, exactly confluent, right? Leading into the Bitcoin halving of 2020, not 2016 this time, but 2020. And you see the similar resistance right there. And now we're talking right around 11,000 is the 618. And the 786 actually goes up to 12,000, a little over 12,000. So with those things being said, I ask you the question, don't you think $11,000 looks a little more significant than 10,000? I get the fact that $10,000 is like that psychological thing, right? If you look back and we go over to, let's go over to kind of a zoomed out chart. Here's a good, I mean, we can just use this one. And we look all the way back in 2017, right? This area, $10,000, Bitcoin was just breaking through. If you were here, do you remember, and this is back in 2017 onto the $20,000 all-time high, do you remember how much people were freaking out about breaking $10,000? So I think it's natural that no matter where we are in Bitcoin cycles right now, I think this will change, right? After we leave $10,000 behind and it's in the history books. But every time we do kind of hit 10,000, even if it's in the middle of a bear market, like right here, it's significant, right? And anytime we're approaching 10,000, it's significant. Look at that resistance right there. The bear market, 2018, that stinking bear market. And then here we go again. Everybody remembers back in summertime, June into July, breaking $10,000 again. And there's something different this time. And that is we are further along in the cycle. We are closer to the Bitcoin halving. There's so much more significance to the timing of Bitcoin breaking $10,000 right now. And we are approaching the apex of this pattern. I want to say something. This really isn't a perfect pattern. We could stretch the fact that maybe there's two touches down here, but I'm not going to sit here and say that's a great looking symmetrical triangle. It's simply not. But I think the similarities in terms of momentum and the similarities in terms of the pattern itself are so similar to back in the last cycle. It's completely warranted to use. So if somebody's wondering, well, that doesn't really look like shouldn't there be another touchdown here? I think technically there should be. But I'm still using it because there's one thing that is true, and we talked about this in the video yesterday. Bitcoin has moved quicker through this entire cycle than last time, right? So we got that 1-2 touch at the bottom of that trend line, end of 2018, beginning of 2019. And you see how it took longer back in that last cycle. But it's almost like the same exact thing happened. We had a swing low in the bear market and then a higher low. And then this time around, same exact thing. Swing low and then a higher low. So, and yes, Rob, I am seriously doing a live stream at 12:30 a.m. And Poseidon Lou, stop laughing at me, dude. Come on, killing me. I think we can definitely celebrate the 10,000 being broken. However, I just want to say this: if we go to the 4-hour chart, there is so much just potential. There's so much. Actually, I would say that there's more potential possibility that Bitcoin's going to come down below $10,000. I highly doubt that this tweet, if this tweet plays out, I just want to throw this out there. I'm sorry I'm bouncing around a little bit. I'm kind of high energy right now. I tweeted earlier, before Bitcoin broke 10,000, what if today, February 8th, 2020, was the last day Bitcoin was ever under 10,000? I want this to hold true so bad because this will be the most epic pinned tweet that I've had to date. And I've been on Twitter for years. Like, this would be awesome to be able to pin this tweet, but I'm literally I'm $79 right now away from that not coming true. Bitcoin can just do that in a matter of seconds. So I think in this 4-hour uptrend that you see from Bitcoin from the end of December into February, if it continues, unless we get some real nice separation like overnight or something, I don't know. There's just a ton of potential just to kind of put in a higher low, maybe somewhere around the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart here, $9,500 or so. And I think that's way more realistic. So we can talk about 10,000. Is it going to hold as support? I don't think there's like a ton of support at $10,000 right now, unless we get some separation away from $10,000. Again, I think the more significant thing to really ask ourselves is what happens at $11,000. That's where this long-term trend line is, right? And it's confluent with this Fibonacci from our last lower high in this trend line. This is it, everybody. This is what we want to be looking at. $11,000, even up to $13,000 or so. And we can zoom out on the charts once again, and we can just take other things into account. Cup and handle everybody's watching. There's so many other patterns. There's so many other things in play right now for Bitcoin. So while we're, celebrating because of our nostalgia and actually mostly emotion, Twitter's awesome. Like anytime Bitcoin breaks $10,000 or getting ready to, Twitter's just fun. People are enjoying it. And there's kind of an emotional aspect of that, but emotions aren't always wrong, right? You're allowed to have emotions and get hype about when your investments like breaking key barriers and you have a community that's like kind of doing the same thing. It's fun. But I wanted to add this Bitcoin. This is something I'm going to keep track of. I want to do this more. I don't know what Bitcoin's going to do next exactly, but if we do break that key Fibonacci resistance area and we start seeing even higher highs and higher lows above there, what is this going to do, Bitcoin trends? I think this is awesome data that we don't bring out enough, or at least I don't bring it out enough. And I really want to talk about that and just keep track of that, right? So this is Bitcoin on Google Trends in the last 7 days. So that's something we're going to watch. And the other thing is Bitcoin halving. 93 days on this countdown, right? And if we go back, and this is kind of one thing I wanted to do on this live stream, I want to take a date range and simply go to last halving, and we can, right around, I guess, what is that? March 21st. We can zoom in here a little bit. So this is like before the last Litecoin halving, to get an idea, like what was Bitcoin doing this time before last Litecoin halving. So it's like right here, right? And we get a sense of what Bitcoin was doing. Bitcoin's getting ready to make a big move, right? And we see it leading into the Bitcoin halving. Now, we're zoomed out on the weekly. It doesn't look like a huge move, but from there, Bitcoin saw gains of 90% leading into the halving. Now, that's time frame wise right around where we are right now. So if we go to where we are right now, leading into the halving, you see the similarities. I'm not this. I know this isn't how technical analysis works, but I just want to give you perspective on the strength that Bitcoin can have in terms of markets like this. And so if we go up 90%, that would bring Bitcoin to around $18,000. So we're at $10,000, and 90% move would bring Bitcoin above 18,000. That's exactly the type of move Bitcoin had leading into the last Litecoin halving. So keep in mind, and by the way, this happened before the 2012 halving too, just massive gains for Bitcoin. So just please keep in mind the possibilities are endless in terms of like Bitcoin making a strong move and Bitcoin breaking some key resistance, namely this Fibonacci retracement, which is really the biggest thing on my radar right now in terms of kind of zoomed out on the daily chart. It's what I'm watching. And I wanted to talk about that in this video because I know 10,000 is key, but I don't think it's as important as 11,000 per se. And those are my reasons why. I could be wrong, but trust me, I will tell you this. I am like absolutely celebrating. I mean, $10,000. Come on, $10,000 Bitcoin. Who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love a $10,000 Bitcoin? Rob said alts will continue to outperform in the short term. In my opinion, of course, it's not financial advice. He also said everyone seems to be a tad too bullish for me. I wanted to comment on that. Almost like disbelief, he said. So I kind of agree with that. Like, don't you think, and if you're a replay viewer and you're still watching this video, even if you're live in the comments right now, don't you think that the market sentiment, especially when emotional barriers, psychological barriers are broken, don't you think it's a little concerning when it gets a little too bullish? Especially, actually, when Bitcoin, like, compared to some altcoins, Bitcoin hasn't actually done anything like crazy. And that's something I think we should keep an eye on as well, the sentiment of the markets. Because for me personally, it just concerns me a little bit. Look at this article. Bitcoin smashes through $10,000 as bull run suddenly accelerates. Here's why. So, and no hate against Billy here, but like I didn't see the bull run accelerate at all. Like, I feel like us watching Bitcoin break $10,000 tonight was literally like if we were all on the sidelines watching a turtle like cross a finish line. It's extremely slow, just walking across the finish line, but like we're on the sidelines and we're like screaming. We're going crazy. That's how I feel. I feel like we're all going crazy and Bitcoin like just like hobbled across the finish lines. And is that just me? That's how I feel. Bitcoin just hobbled across 10,000. We didn't even break it crazily, which I was just telling Rob this. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. I wouldn't even mind some sideways just action, sideways consolidation above 10,000. I wouldn't mind if Bitcoin came back down 9,500, 9,600, saw some support for a while. Boring markets, boring Bitcoin is actually usually the best thing that could possibly happen. If you want those massive breakouts, right? Bitcoin being boring is a good sign. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts tonight on this morning, Sunday morning, 12:35 a.m. I appreciate you guys for coming by, hanging out. I really do. Bitcoin. Will the higher highs, will the lower lows continue? That's the question. Press 1 right now if you're in the comments. I'm curious of your thoughts. What do you think Bitcoin's going to do next? If you're keen and bullish and you think Bitcoin is going to continue above 10,000 and maybe even make a run for 10,500, 11,000, press 1 if you're like that bullish. Press 2 if you're just kind of you don't see the strength, you don't see it happening. Press 2, not if you're bearish, but if you're just kind of like, you know, maybe bored with Bitcoin. What's up, Dan Best? Thanks for coming by. We got some ones. We got a lot of ones. A couple twos. A 4. So somebody said the MACD on the weekly crossed. We can go to, there's Bitcoin on the daily breaking. 10K. There's the weekly zoomed in. We can look at the MACD. So yeah, this started happening like end of January or so, the last couple weeks. It's definitely looking awesome. You can see last time we had a MACD cross February 2019. Does anybody remember February 2019, the significance of that? That was Bitcoin putting in its bottom out of the bear market low and getting ready to see some massive gains. I mean, from that February, we're looking at pretty much, 300% gains for Bitcoin. That was the last time Bitcoin saw a MACD cross above the signal line. Very bullish indeed. Very, very bullish. Not to mention the fact that even the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator on Bitcoin right now, it looks fine. It's not overbought. We have a ton of upside to go. We can go to something like Dash on the USD. We're getting up there. We're getting into that overbought area. The stock RSI, even extremely overbought. Bitcoin not even as overbought as many, many altcoins. So that's something to keep an eye on. So I think that's it. I think that's all I wanted to cover on this live stream. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll wake up tomorrow morning and it's probably, Bitcoin is probably going to be, unfortunately, under $10,000, right? After I do a $10,000 video. Isn't that how this works? Johnny K, overbought RSI on Bitcoin isn't always an indicator that price is going to drop. I agree with that. I mean, you can even, so while I agree with that, I agree with it more on the daily chart. You can see very consistent overbought patterns on the daily chart, but on the weekly chart, and I want to bring up the last bull market, like the crazy parabolic run. When Bitcoin, and I guess I see your point where if it's overbought doesn't mean it's going to stop running. But when Bitcoin was extremely overbought on the weekly chart, right, in that last bull market. So like, let's just take this for an example. Last bull market, Bitcoin's going crazy. Look at this. Look at these gains right here. Overbought on the RSI. What Bitcoin did do, even though it wasn't done its run, it definitely consolidated. And these are like these are the moves that I'm looking forward to doing in the next bull market when things get crazy. And look at this dip. Like this is a almost 40% dip, and that's after Bitcoin was overbought. We get clues on this weekly RSI. Historically, I mean, the indicators tell us when it's that overbought, we're going to get dips. And just look at it. It happened over and over again at that overbought area for Bitcoin. So I think that's like one of the best things to look for. But I do agree, it's not an indicator that price is going to drop long term in a bull market, maybe. But it kind of is an indicator that it is going to drop. So I think I saw Rob asked I should do a Q&A live stream. That's a good idea, I think, to do a Q&A live stream. I feel like I definitely don't interact with y'all enough when I'm doing these live streams. That would probably be a good idea. But look at that, 229 people here, only 52 likes. Come on, people. Smash the like button. Let's go. I'm up 12:40 a.m. hustling. I'm hustling here on a Saturday night into Sunday morning, and I only get like 20% likes. What is this? What am I doing? I'm just kidding. Rob said Dash hasn't moved. I think Dash is out of breath, and it's like, I think it's just taking a breath, dude. Thanks for watching, Johnny K. Appreciate it. I'm only playing, everybody. Dude, we got like 50 likes. That was awesome. We're over 100 now. We're over 100, like Bitcoin's over 10,000. I love it. I'm kind of glued to my computer screen. Maybe some of you are as well, because I want to see Bitcoin if it's going to hold above 10K. But it's time for me to relax. I wanted to hang out with y'all for a little bit. I really did. And yeah, by the way, I just talked about Dash. This is Dash taking a breather. Dash is looking crazy. Some altcoins are looking crazy. Oh, I didn't even notice Neo made a little move. I've been watching Neo, everybody. I've been watching some altcoins. Of course, I've been watching Litecoin. Here's Litecoin, everybody. I know we have a lot of Litecoin people in here. Litecoin looking pretty right now. I do want to say, and I always bring it up, I feel like I have to responsibly bring this up. My biggest concern on Litecoin, and I'm sorry, I'm not hating against Litecoin at all, is this. Before the last Bitcoin halving, Litecoin making a nice little run up towards that 50 moving average on the LTC BTC pair. And then, that's just not pretty. And right now, Litecoin making a run before the last Bitcoin halving up to that 50 moving average on the LTC BTC pair. What is going to happen? Are we going to get a similar move? I don't know. I see this 50-week moving average cross below the 200 moving average. Listen, I own a good amount of Litecoin too. And I know a lot of people I know a lot of people are bullish, they're long-term on Bitcoin, on Litecoin. I am too. But I feel like I look at these charts objectively and I see what I see. Litecoin could totally 100% just blast through, right? And just because it happened once does not mean it's going to happen again. I want to throw that out there. But I think like the way I've been looking at it for a major part of the last year or so is like, I'm going to focus on Bitcoin more than Litecoin. And that's where I'm at with that. That's just the way I am. That doesn't mean I still own Litecoin. I'm still long on Litecoin. I will be extremely long on Litecoin if we get a move like that. If we get a move like this and say we're in like October 2020 or something, I just want to say I will be accumulating Litecoin and I will probably be doing a lot of videos on Litecoin. I saw Anthony Pompliano. I think I saw a tweet or something. Or wait, you know what I think it was? I think it was in this article. Here we go. Bitcoin just hit $10,000. Anthony Pompliano, the co-founder of Bitcoin and crypto investing group Morgan Creek Digital, said via Twitter, I still think that Bitcoin will hit $100,000 by end of December 2021, pointing to Bitcoin's fixed supply and increasing demand as the reason for Bitcoin's performance. I just want to say, Anthony, I've never met you, but I 100% agree with you. I think we're on the same page. I think we're on the same chart. I want to go to my zoomed out chart. I charted this back in December 2018, and I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not like tooting my own horn. I didn't know this was going to play out like this. I got lucky. That's all it is. This arrow, this line I put here, like look at Bitcoin right now, hugging that line. How beautiful is that? And Anthony, if you're out there, look at this. It's like on the fast track to that $100,000 area. I have $90,000 up here at the upper trend line, but 100%, $100,000, I'm on the same page. Bitcoin charts, long term, it's where it's at. And it's mentally the easiest chart to look at. Like you can really just relax. When you start kind of zooming in, you see this 4-hour chart, you're just like, man, Bitcoin, it just looks crazy. It's hard to keep up with. But when you're looking at that zoomed out chart and you're looking at the long-term strength, the long-term trend of Bitcoin, look at this. Hit that like button if you think that's beautiful, because I do. We are just getting started, everybody. Remember, I'm talking about $11,000 potential resistance here, confluent with this upper trend line. What's so significant about that as well is we have a larger Fibonacci retracement that we've been tracking for a very long time. And that is the Fibonacci from the bull market high to the bear market low. And that is this Fibonacci channel, 13,000 or so up to over 16,000. That is the doorway to the bull market. I don't know when we'll get there. I really don't. But I can tell you, breaking this shorter term fib resistance, extremely, extremely important. If you want to see Bitcoin go to the moon, if you want to ride the coattails of Bitcoin to the moon. Bitcoin has to break this resistance, and then it has to break this resistance, the doorway to the bull market. If that happens, I think this is the climate above $16,000, $17,000 that everybody's waiting for. This is what we want to see. I don't know when that'll happen, but there's parabolic gains. I envision it. I see it. I'm really not trying to pump anything. I'm just saying what I feel. I think there's going to be this environment once again. And it happens fast. And this is the weekly chart, but it happens fast. So be prepared. That's all I got, everybody. This is way long. I was like, I'm going to do a 10-minute live stream real quick. And this turned into like half an hour. And now YouTube algorithms are going to hate me. So I appreciate all you guys and girls hanging out. Johnny K says, don't forget your spacesuit. Moon pattern forming. I love it. Dude, that's such a good, Pablo, that's such a good title. Moon pattern forming. As we trade, so not very far above $10,000. Will it continue? I don't know. If you're a replay viewer and you're somehow still here, let me know what you think below. If you're in the comments, I just want to thank you for joining me on this late night live stream. I appreciate you. If you're here not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button on the way out. You must join me as we enter this bull market. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Yes, this is my 12 a.m. hair. This is my 12 a.m. hairdo, and I'm ready for bed. Have an awesome night, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.